Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in today to this very important live stream and discussion. On my left hand side I have the Chief Whip of the Democratic Alliance Caucus in the Johannesburg Council and the Chairperson. Shortly I will introduce the leader of the Democratic Alliance in Johannesburg, Councillor Belinda Kayser-Echeozonjoku, to discuss why we are outside the Johannesburg High Court, to get into the finer details of why we have decided to bring a lawsuit against the City of Joburg for their irresponsible spending on VIP protection. Some estimates put the value of protection in the city at 3 million rand monthly. That's not only a disgrace, but a slap in the face of residents who do not even have water in their taps or aren't able to turn their lights on. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Councillor Belinda Kayser-Echeozonjoku, the leader of the Democratic Alliance in Johannesburg. Thank you.
Good morning, residents of Johannesburg. Today, once again, we are at the Johannesburg High Court to ensure that the rule of law is upheld. When the VIP policy was brought to Council, we raised our objections and our concerns that this is a violation of the Municipal Systems Act. Far too long, you have suffered with taps running dry, traffic lights not working, massive potholes in Johannesburg. All this while the mayor and his executive are driving around with bodyguards and blue lights outside the allowable limit that you, residents of Johannesburg, are paying for. When residents call the City Public Safety Department, it's a miracle if JMPD arrive in an hour, if they actually arrive at all. The MEC of Caucus even cautioned the city as early as February 2024 that they are in violation of the constitutional upper limits and the Municipal Systems Act. But even this did not stop the city from bringing the flawed policy to Council. Despite efforts through the Section 79 committee rejecting this policy, it found its way to Council without clear details on the exact cost implications to the residents of Johannesburg. It can never be allowed, residents in Johannesburg, that VIP protection services are extended to chairpersons of committees before a risk assessment is getting done. It can never be allowed, residents of Johannesburg, that the VIP protection services be extended outside of the allowable upper limits. It can never be allowed, residents, that the Constitution and the Municipal Systems Act is violated without getting challenged. Today, as this case is being heard, your voices as the residents of Johannesburg is being heard, as it is in your interest that the Constitution and the rule of law is upheld. We are asking the court to review this flawed VIP protection policy and for it to be set aside. We are also asking the court for the decision to pass this VIP protection policy in Council to be declared unlawful, unconstitutional and invalid. Now, with this landmark judgment a few days ago, we also need to start looking at whether the unlawfulness had led to unauthorized, fruitless and wasteful expenditure, and the relevant officials and politicians must then also be personally held liable for the cost incurred to the residents of Johannesburg. That is your money being spent and resulting to fruitless, wasteful and irregular expenditure. We must never allow, residents of Johannesburg, we must never allow lawmakers to steamroll unlawful decisions through Council in the name of keeping coalitions together at the expense of you, the residents of Johannesburg. Thank you very much.
VIP protection Everybody, family!